Here we got a 403 Oldsmobile. And how do you know if you got a 403? Just looking it over. The first clue is they got big fucking coffee can fucking cylinders. It's a 4.351 bore. This one's bored to 4.375 using Keith Black pistons with a 6cc valve reliefs, flat tops. They got a 3.385 stroke. So it's a big ass bore and a short stroke. And one would be led to believe that that would be a high RPM engine, which that bore and stroke is pretty favorable in its dimensions. But the problem with these fucking 403s, you go turning up the wick on them, the block, as I said in another video, the block on these fuckers is scary. And here's why. You see that main cap down in there? You see this big fucking hole right here? That's a window. Those are windowed mains. Oldsmobile started doing that shit in '77. And it weakened the block dramatically. I mean, there are people that have these things 500-600 horsepower, but generally they ain't gonna last very long if you try to put any miles on one. But using girdles and hard blocking them and shit, and O-ringing the block, other tricks to make them live. But if a person wanting to build an all-out race engine, this is really not the best choice. I had this one turned up to 460 horse or so. That's about what it made. And I used a 1966 330 crank, the 403 rods and Keith Black pistons. And the bottom end held up just fine. And I would turn it, I'd try to keep it $6,000 or less, but there was a few occasions where shit happened real fast and it might have crept up to 6,500, but it never blew up. And I ran mid-sevens in the 8th mile in a G-body with this engine, NA, with a 750 double pumper on Offenhauser intake, and 455 J heads. These right there. And them 455 heads have smaller chambers by 3 to 5 cc's approximate, less than the 403 heads come stock with. So even if you put a 455 head on without milling it, you're gonna pick up some compression, but it's better to go ahead and take about 30 thousandths off of them and get them on down about 74cc range, and then use them Keith Black pistons and get these motherfuckers up 10.5 to 1 range. And that's really not that much compression. It ain't enough to fucking kill them. There was stock 350 Oldsmobiles with 10.5 to 1 compression back in the late 60s. And they just had fucking stock cast pistons in them and shit. But they had a stronger block. But even though these fuckers have metal taken out in all the wrong areas, the metallurgy on these things is, they're fucking made out of strong iron. You know, if you buy into the whole high nickel controversy, these are considered high nickel blocks. They're fucking hard fucking iron. It's hard, little harder to bore them and shit than like a Chevy. But it's a harder fucking iron. You got that in the timing chain area. You got a hole in this oil plug to squirt oil on the timing gear and shit. I built this engine over 30 years ago. It ran pretty good, but I ended up fucking it up and put some nitrous on it. And didn't have enough fucking gap on them rings. The fucking ring butted up on me and broke the fucking one of the pistons. Started burning the shit out of oil. Found out a plug in 5 miles. So I pulled it apart and found that broken ring laying and threw the shit in a box and pushed it off in the corner and ain't fucked with it since. That was back in the 90s. But I just went and drug this thing out of its hole. I'm gonna resurrect it here in the near future. Probably just have to buy a whole nother set of fucking pistons. I don't know if the ones I used, I don't know, they've probably been changed by now. Revised. So it'd probably be hard to find just one of them pistons. Since they're probably 35 years old. The easiest way to tell is on the side of the block. You got a big fucking 403. And this one's got an X. This come out of a 77 Trans Am. What this engine started life in. There's a better shot at them windowed mains. That's scary looking shit. That's what you're thinking about when you run one of these fuckers down a drag strip. That right there is in your back of your head every fucking run. It'd make you want to go back to the 455s and shit. But this thing, like I said, it never fucking pushed the crank out, the son of a bitch. Never had a problem with that, and I was leaning on it pretty hard. So they're good metal. God damn. Motherfucker. deck, small block. 455 is about a fucking inch or so taller right here and here. So this is considered a small block Oldsmobile. That's what they say. There's the old ass 8-quart fucking oil pan I had on it. Don't see them every day. Looked like it started life as a tornado pan. But I think that fucker is made by Moroso back in the 80s. But it looks like they took a tornado pan and added a sump to it. I painted it blue back in the day. I think it was black with the Moroso sticker on it originally. I'd clean it up and repaint it and put new stickers on it and shit. Reuse it. It's still a good pen. I believe it's 8 quarts. Pretty fucking big pen. These Oldsmobiles, you want to run some more oil than you would with a Chevy. They got bigger fucking main journal diameters, bigger rod journals. More likely to have oiling problems and shit. So you want to address that. The 403s have 4 extra steam holes, coolant passages, because they're Siamese fucking cylinders. You don't want to bore these very much. About 40 over, it's done as far as you want to go. There's people bore them 60, but the reason you don't want to bore these fuckers much is because the bores are already so big, there's not much material in between there, and you fucking have head gasket sealing issues. The person almost need to O-ring one of these fuckers if they really giving it hell. But the head gaskets are another area of concern. And when you use heads off a 455 or early 330, 350 heads and shit, you can go that route too. But you want to drill them fucking holes for them coolant passages. The steam holes. Kind of like a 400 small block Chevy. Except you can get away without it on 400s, just racing them and shit. But on these, they're there for more of a reason. It's more critical on Oldsmobile. It's not a Chevy. These fuckers have potential though. They were rated low from the factory. They were like 185 horse at 3,600 RPM and like 320 torque at 2,200 RPM. Well, that's fucking pitiful. But the biggest reason they didn't have no power is they had like a 7.9 to 1. You know, they called it 8 to 1, but you actually fucking CC one out and shit. It's more like 7.9 to 1. So they ain't got no compression from the factory. Got a big ass deep dish fucking piston and an 83cc chamber head. So it's the no compression blues. So you want to get the compression up at least 10 to 1. And in the factory cam in it, motherfucker might as well be a broomstick. Got no lift, got no duration, wide load separation. They ain't worth a damn. They're just designed to be smooth, quiet, good emissions. You know, everything you don't give a fuck about for a hot rod. So that pissant broomstick cam ain't gonna do you no favors. So you want to put a good bump stick in it. I had a Lenati Street Master. I think it was like $295 advertised, $245 at 50, 108 lobe separation. I think it was 545 lift. It's been 35 fucking years, but I think that was it. But it ran real fucking good. Get that cam in it, get that compression, get a set of heads. Them J heads are considered shit in the big block Oldsmobile world, but they outflow any small block Olds head ever made. They got bigger fucking valves, they got bigger ports, and they got hardened exhaust seats and shit, so they're unleaded fuel compatible. So you take a pair of them and do a little work in them. A couple of spots need addressed in them, and you mill them down. And you gotta ream them out just a touch, because these 403s have half-inch head bolts, and the 455s had 7/16. But it's not much of a difference, so it don't take much to ream them out. Hell, they had 400 cubic inch tall deck big block Oldsmobiles. So a 403 is many cubic inches as one of them. So it can use a similar size head. They just hobbled the shit out of these things, really. They came around at the wrong time. They made them from 77 to 79. And shit was pretty weak in them years. If they'd have built one of these with a solid main web block, big block heads, like back in the late 60s, that would have been it would have been running with the Ram Air 4 Pontiacs and shit. So it was too late. But they designed these to replace the 455. They wanted a lighter, smaller, better emissions engine. But they also cut its fucking balls off, so this thing's got a bad rap in stock form. But I just built this thing years ago just to see what I could do with one. And it turned out to be a pretty damn good engine. So they're better than people think. And not everybody needs a 600 horse small block Oldsmobile. You can build one of these in the 4 to 500 horse range and have a unit that'll live and, run pretty damn good, especially on a lightweight Jeep out here or something. But that is the 1977 403 Oldsmobile block. It's not a bad engine to build. Getting kind of hard to find. There it is.